step in the right direction.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Gen Z Reviews, episode 68. We are rewinding back to 2005, Steven Spielberg's biggest sleeper, in my mind, War of the Worlds. I didn't even know this was a Spielberg film till I looked into it further. This is one of those movies that you've heard the name many times. Obviously, the title, the idea, the concept has come back into the prowess of Americans' minds because of the new Ice Cube War of the Worlds film, which I have not seen. I've not heard the best things about.
You're not missing anything.
So it was a big pleasure going back to watch this one. My dad's talked about it for a long time. And honestly, I don't really have all that much experience with Tom Cruise. So I really enjoyed seeing him in a different role other than Top Gun related or Mission Impossible. Those are like my two big ones. So I really liked him in this. I thought he was awesome. And I thought, I'm calling this a sleeper because I think it's really high quality. I really enjoyed watching it. I thought it was really chaotic. And I thought, it was, what's the word? Dreadful. It's strictly dreadful start to finish. And I think it takes a lot of talent being able to keep up that level of dread. And it just seemed to get worse and worse. Now, I think quality-wise, it's great in capturing that dread. But I also think the story creates dread in a much less positive fashion as you watch the movie due to a lot of different characters' involvement in the story. And I think there were quite a few misses in the mix too. So I'm excited to get into that with all you guys. And from my impression, this is most of ours first time watching the movie. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Not mine.
Okay, not yours. All
No,
right.
I saw it when it came out.
Okay.
Dude,
nice.
if I can go back in time and see one movie again, if this was an IMAX, I think that would be
Ooh,
awesome. Just the
That
sound
would
these
be
things make.
I agree.
Yes.
That'd be sweet. Yeah. This could definitely use an IMAX rendering. We watched it on my TV, and I got to tell you, streaming quality, it is worse than physical media quality. I mean, it looked super grainy on my TV. And that's streaming. That's straight from Paramount. So blame Paramount for that. If I had a 4K copy, it probably would have looked perfect. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I was kind of I like where we are today. Like at the panel, usually we have like a few people that are really well attuned to the movie and are like experts on it. But this is mostly first time for all of us. So I'm pretty excited to see what you guys thought. What did you think just like reaction wise about this film? Did it speak to you? Did it leave a lasting impression? What are your guys' thoughts?
Certainly a lasting impression because I think you nailed it when you said the dread. It just gets worse and worse. Like, oh, an alien invasion. That's pretty bad. Oh, they're using us as fertilizer. Wow, this has gotten more graphic by the second. And like I said, the sound the monster, the machines make, it's certainly an iconic sound for me. So yeah, definitely love this one.
Mm-hmm. It keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole time. That's what I enjoy. They throw it right at you from start to finish. Like, there's usually like a false climax on the beginning of a movie, but no. As soon as he runs outside to, look up in the sky, it's there. It happens. It goes downhill from there. And that is something you don't see all the time anymore. So
yeah,
that was great.
Yeah, they just rushed right into it. I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as soon as they start, it just keeps your attention the whole time, and they definitely keep the pacing going very, very well, but also it still feels high speed. Like it's the right amount of time for this film. Like I believe it's like 2 hours altogether.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, but it doesn't feel like it slows down at all. Even in the parts that are slow where they take a little bit of time to breathe, it still feels like the right amount of pacing. And also the suspense, the moments of suspense really do sell the suspense, which I'm sure we'll get into later, obviously. But also because this is based off of a famous book that's been around for hundreds of years, setting it in a modern setting, it definitely works. They made it work. You could have, because I've seen this old, well, not really old, but a couple of years ago, I saw an anime version of a steampunk take on the classic novel where, after the invasion, all the nations kind of form their giant steampunk style mechs to fight the aliens when they come back, and it was a pretty. If nobody's ever seen that, I definitely recommend checking it out. But this version, setting in 21st century setting and everything like that, definitely works. And it's interesting to see Spielberg tackle something like this after what he did with Close Encounters and E.T., a much more cynical take on aliens rather than his classic family-friendly fantastical version. This is definitely him stepping into another just a whole new version of that genre that he had never really wanted to do before. And I think to a certain amount it actually pays off, really.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think I kind of prefer this more bleak view of aliens than like the optimistic, hopeful, happy, alien friend, because there is none of that here. Not a single moment. What did you think, Ashley?
Oh, I've honestly loved this movie since it came out. Like I have seen the, what was it, from the 50s, I think it was, the original movie.
Oh, wow.
And that one's actually really fun, like for that kind of like era, the way they used to do science fiction. And they keep kind of close, like Spielberg does, but to me, this one just, like, the stakes are just way higher. And like you said, this movie just doesn't hold back. It immediately gets into it. And I'm just like, more of this, please, because this whole slow burn stuff is only nice for so long.
Yeah. You could not have this like slow burn and this sort of idea. Those do not go well together.
No.
Spielberg doesn't really do slow burns, except Disclosure Day. That was kind of a slow burn.
Close Encounters is. If you rewatch Close Encounters.
That's a great slow burn, though.
Yeah, that is. It's like, that's more about the family dynamic of a man who becomes obsessed with finding out where these aliens want him to go and how it tears apart his family, which that was more him, Spielberg, talking about the separation of his family, like his dad and his mom and all that stuff, until of course we got Fablemans, which was the actual story about that.
Yeah, I haven't seen that one. I'm kind of curious about it, but I don't know.
It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's fun getting to see him, this version of him when he was a kid, when he started out doing just these short little homemade films with his Boy Scout friends. But the best part is like the very last part of the film when he met John Ford, and John Ford gave him advice on how to become a great filmmaker.
Okay.
The last performance by David Lynch.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Great. Well, maybe we'll check that out. Maybe we'll talk about that eventually. But if this is your guys' first time joining us, thank you very much. Always great having you on here. The way we do this is we're going to be kind of discussing generalizations about the movie. We might hop a little bit, but the basic framework of how these streams work is I've broken the film down into 5 chapters, and we're going to go over some of the bits and bobs of each of those chapters and the story and the events that happen. And I'm going to ask some discussion questions, and we're going to get into it. But if this is your first time hearing of War of the Worlds, at least of the story here in this film, just to summarize kind of briefly or give you a synopsis, we follow Tom Cruise, who stars as Ray Ferrier, a divorced dock worker from New Jersey who is distant from his 2 kids. When strange lightning storms hit, giant alien tripods suddenly rise from the ground and start destroying everything. As the invasion spreads across the world, Ray must fight to protect his children and get them to safety. And my, oh my, does hell reign on earth? I mean, you see these tripods here. This is like one of those iconic images I've seen many times over. I've something that kept ringing in my head, which is sort of a younger person's kind of similarity to this concept, is the Siren Head. I don't know too much about Siren Head, but I know that's kind of like it's sort of a famous horror story that young people are kind of driven to. I guess they're making a Siren Head movie soon, so that should be interesting. And I think the concept is kind of similar, sort of like a large alien like this destroying the world. But yeah, I think this image right here just sums up the chaos and horror of this movie, because I mean, it's called a scientific thriller, but would you guys say that there's like some beats of horror in there too? And how would you classify what this movie is?
Oh yeah, it's definitely a horror science fiction movie. These things are terrifying. I mean, you feel dreadful. I mean, like you said, it's dreadful what they do, and they're so unmatched with the humans. They're invincible. From the beginning, you don't know. You're completely hopeless. I've lost hope from the beginning of the movie for the humans. I mean, from the clip I saw from when it first goes off, makes that iconic sound. That's just terrifying. That's just awful. Yeah. I hate that. So yes, I would definitely classify this as a horror movie.
Yeah, I definitely would also. It's like a balanced version of a horror and sci-fi, because sci-fi in and of itself has always been kind of open for that interpretation when you think about it in a lot of different films. You got other examples like The Quiet Place and so many others where the aliens are like they're the monster, they're the serial killer, that you never really see until the end of the towards the end of the story. So you don't know exactly what it is that you're up against until the very end. But especially like towards the end, when you have those moments in the house where they're hiding in the house, that I think definitely is just straight out of a horror film. It kind of made me think a lot of Anaconda, if you think about it. Obviously we'll get more into it later, but yeah, the suspense, the build-ups and everything, and then of course there were also moments where you could tell Spielberg was clearly drawing from Hitchcock, like that part with Tom Cruise and Tim Robbins. It definitely feels like it's something out of a classic, very very old school kind of suspense thriller.
Yeah, definitely.
It's definitely a horror for me, because there are times down here where there'll just be like lightning storms and I won't hear any thunder at all. It's like, oh no, it's happening.
Oh gosh, we're all screwed if this comes true. We're all screwed.
This is one of those movies where it's like I don't really have a plan for something like this. I think my plan would be just, okay, we're gonna hunker down, get supplies, we're not gonna move anywhere. I think
that's something that's so like tragic about this story, is nowhere is safe. There's no place in the world that's safe from these things. No basement, doesn't look like there's any bit of shelter, bomb shelters. I mean, they weaseled their way everywhere, and they have that mentality of seek and destroy. It's not simply, they're not stupid, which is, very interesting. They're so determined, and they're seekers. I mean, they seek people out, and we see Tom Cruise and his family go through quite a few different instances of this horror. And, the basement sequence is obviously kind of the most nail biting, because, it's just on the verge of capturing them several times over. And, as per usual, a child makes it more difficult to survive, as what happens most of this movie. Oh my gosh. It was, oh my gosh. I have we'll get to that in the second chapter, because I'm going to unload on these kids.
I was about to say children.
Yes. No, it's not just a little girl. They brought this movie down like 4 notches for me, which is saying a lot. I think this could be like an A+ if you just got rid of them, or made them completely uninsufferable, because they were totally insufferable the whole time.
That's the point. It's about one man dealing with an alien invasion and having to deal with his children.
But he doesn't have like an actual relationship with them either. So it's, I mean, as insufferable as they are, which don't get me wrong, they are. It makes sense because when your dad isn't around, you're gonna just be like, "Who cares about you?" type deal.
That's a good point.
Granted, thankfully, I've never had to deal with that, but it makes sense. You know what I mean? But it's still, oh God, when I rewatched this a couple months ago, I was just like, just punch his son in the face, please. Because there were so many scenes where I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, that kid, especially the son, he was the most irritating and the most like I was like when it gets to that part where he's running towards the explosions, I'm like, yes, thank God they got rid of him.
I know we were cheering when the kid.
Yeah, it was the daughter's sudden burst of screams that was
that too.
Getting me. It's like
that's understandable.
That too. She's an anxiety-ridden child who needs probably needs antidepressants or something.
Well, we're talking about it now. Might as well just get into it now. What makes these kids so annoying? And I think for me, like what you just said with the little girl, for me, I couldn't stand her. I was so happy when the tripod grabbed her, and I thought that was it. I was waiting for the tripod to zap her. I was waiting for her to.
You were giving it a standing ovation, man.
I was excited. I was cheering, and the stupid brother was just as annoying. And I know somebody that's a lot like him, and I don't like that person either. Ooh. And it was like, wow, man,
it's me.
It's Luke. I'm like, there's Luke. There he goes, finally.
Oh, so you're saying Luke is has a very punchable face, huh?
Oh no, we love.
I'll take it. Yeah,
he's not nowhere
near.
Makeup
over my black eyes that my shiny.
Yeah, it took him a while.
Nah, don't do that, man.
I don't know. I think the little girl. It's like already in life having to put up with the constant screaming and the whining and the complaining and the disrespect. I already can't stand that. Every time my sister would do that kind of crap, I hated it. Everybody hates it, right? And then you put in the movie and it's just it's so irritating on every level. And like you said, Ashley, it adds to the chaos, right? I mean, that's sort of the point. That I didn't even really think about that. Why would they behave differently? Because they don't have a relationship with this guy and they have no respect for him. But at the same time, that is such an annoying story beat. Like I don't really want to see that relationship. Unfortunately, I think a lot of us that work around kids or have kids in our lives, I know plenty of examples of kids that don't have, active parents or, disciplinary parents, and they just act a fool all the time. I can't stand it. It's so annoying. And here you are with both of these characters. And I don't like seeing how much they disrespect Tom Cruise, because I think naturally we all respect Tom Cruise, not really so much for his character here, but more so for Tom Cruise as a whole, because we've seen him in so many stories. I think you naturally build a respect for these actors. And when they play the character, I think the respect kind of, overfills into these other roles. But I could not stand how both of these characters were just spitting on him, pissing all over him, no respect, wasn't listening, and just throwing themselves in harm's way. Of course they do.
Yeah. Well, she's just a straight up little brat is what she was. Like, you could tell that she got whatever she wanted, and the stepdad or whatever he was to her, he probably gave her the moon and the stars, you know what I mean? And while Tom Cruise's character is just a normal dude that is her actual dad. So it's just like, okay, you hate him because he's not what your mom and her new husband is. Because, when they go to where their house is at, like, look at the difference of.
She's used to living in luxury, yeah.
Yeah, so she's used to getting her way, probably. Because I had tons of friends growing up that didn't have both parents, or their parents were divorced or something like that. And not one of them treated their dad like that, even if they did not like the guy. It was just like, okay. But there were kids that were like that, though. Like, I grew up around kids that were bratty. And so she depicted it very well, but didn't mean I like her.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she was annoying.
Do you think this movie might have benefited from maybe another half hour where we got to see a little bit more? Because I'm watching the scene right now where they enter the house and they just go through the door, can't find the mom, immediately go to making peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
To act that way towards his kids, but you can tell that he's still in love with his ex-wife, and she's moved on and she's pregnant, so I'm sure that has done a number. And he's just kind of almost taking that out on her, because you know when they walk into the room and she gives him shit because they're still sharing a room. Their way, like I would have watched it. I liked this movie a lot, so.
Yeah, I don't think I would have slowed it down anymore. I think the pacing was pretty good. I think you just make those kids more likable, and then we wouldn't have any of these problems. But they weren't. So let's start off in the first chapter here. So Tom Cruise. When we say Ray, that's Tom Cruise, just so everybody knows. His name's Ray Ferrier. He's a divorced dock worker who reluctantly takes his two children, which one is the moody teenager Robbie, and the other is the insufferable young Rachel, for the weekend in Bayonne, New Jersey. Family tensions quickly fill the air as Robbie's backseat parenting skills become clear as crystal. Much worse ills arise as unnatural lightning birthed from an artificial storm plague the streets, spawning catastrophe and awakening massive alien machines from the ground. And just like we said, it hits the ground running right from the beginning. And you get a little bit of quiet time with these kids, but, everything really goes to hell in a handbasket right away. And I appreciate that. Something that's kind of funny that the movie quickly introduces right off the bat is Ray's kind of imperfect parenting. You could just tell that there's something about him that's off. He's not the token dad. He's not the token father at all. So how does the film establish that idea that he's just not really the best parent?
Well, he doesn't take care of himself. He has milk in his fridge that is expired. There's like only condiments and bread in his fridge, and he, like you said,
he has an engine in his dining room as well.
Yeah,
yeah, like he only puts money into his car. I mean, he's that kind of guy. He's just not ready to be, a full-time parent or even a part-time parent, as we see. I mean, he doesn't care about his kids. Ordered like food from like the dime store and left it out for them for the next day.
Yeah. And then like also you see that moment between him and his son when they're throwing the baseball back and forth, and it starts off kind of like a fun little banter back and forth where they're both taking jabs at each other until finally they start getting tense, and he literally almost throws the ball right at his son's head, and the son ducks away, and it hits through the window. I mean, you see it's typical absentee dad attitude between him and his son, where he was never really there for him, and his son resents him for it and has basically become so bitter that he doesn't really care whether his dad tries to reconnect with him or not. And the daughter is just, like you said, she's spoiled, and whenever things don't go the way she wants them to, she overreacts, and also like she wants everything done her way. Like she literally orders some fancy healthy food instead of pizza or a hot dog or something
normal. Yeah
because it's like she's so used to getting everything she wants, and
top notch.
It's like it's kind of like I don't know if you guys have ever seen this one film with Billy Crystal and Bette Midler. I know the name, but I can't think of it right now, where they have their grandkids, and their grandkids are just always coddled by their parents. Their daughter, who's played by Marissa Tomei, is like their son literally has a imaginary friend that sits at a table with them at a restaurant, and he doesn't like his food touching and stuff like that. I'm like,
wow,
that is so annoying. It's some of the most you want to talk about. I mean, yeah, it's not nearly as annoying as these kids are, but this keep pandering kids like this, it gets pretty close.
Yeah, that sounds like a rough watch too.
Yeah, I mean it's a comedy, so there's some nice little humor in it, but it's still when they write those scenes with those kids, you know that they're just saying somebody in Hollywood is thinking straight about this stuff. Like you shouldn't. This is why you should not coddle your kids. It's like there's a part where the grandson is running around because his imaginary friend tells him to. And he, like Billy Crystal, literally grabs him, puts him on his knee, is about ready to spank him right there in front of everybody. And he says, like, I've been trying to deal with these kids, and their parents keep saying, use your words, but the only word I never hear them use with these kids is no.
Oh man, yikes! Yeah. Well, Tom Cruise, he doesn't put up with all the crap here. Those kids are lucky that the world is going to hell. Because if not, they probably would get a good old keel hauling, right? But I know that's a quote from Lighthouse. But
do you even know what that is? Keel hauling?
It's like a beating, isn't it?
That's where they would. That's an old punishment that they would do in the Navy. If a sailor got out of line with the captain, they'd literally tie them up, and they throw them off the bow, and they hold like the ropes on either end, and they drag them on the bottom of the ship with all the rope that was underneath, and it would carve up their back and everything.
Oh wow! Okay, never mind. Forget that. Yeah. Wrong word. Didn't know that.
They're not that
bad. You checked me. No, they're not that bad. They're not that.
That's
bad.
really extreme, though.
Yeah. Okay, that's extreme.
Sometimes a good old fashioned spanking.
I mean, we're talking about them getting zapped, though. So I mean, that's much more extreme.
A little bit.
I don't know.
I'd rather get zapped.
Oh gosh. Well,
turn to dust.
So I thought something that was clever about this entrance is, like we said, we get straight into action, and part of that action, the aliens don't reveal themselves immediately. That's kind of built up. And one of the ways that it's built up is this really captivating storm sequence. And I thought it was very interesting. And it clearly wasn't a storm. Like Spielberg's creativity team, they did a great job making this feel unique, that it was sort of artificial, it was manufactured. What made this storm sequence so perplexing to you guys?
The fact that the wind was blowing towards, like
it was blowing away from the storm.
Yeah. Sorry, it was blowing away from the storm, and that No,
it was blowing towards the storm.
Yeah.
So you're right.
And it didn't look like your ideal like funnel cloud. It was like multicolored, like almost orange, yellowish, and looked like there was like a machine coming out of the sky. That's what mainly got me was I thought that was very unique how the wind was blowing the opposite direction as it usually does. I mean, that's
And also
they showed that too. You like saw it pushing away and how it affected the people, and it just looked odd.
Yeah.
And also the lightning strikes without the thunder. That was definitely very unique, I think. The way how they did that, that's like, okay, that would definitely freak me out if all of a sudden all these rapid lightning strikes were hitting. And I'm glad. I mean, the thunder would be crazy if you added that with it, but just all that lightning happening at the same time, and just sparks going off. I'd be like, okay. I know I got to get inside, but I'm not sure if that's even safe either.
Yeah.
I like how they were looking at it, and then he's like, "Oh, we have to go inside." After thinking, "Hey, it looks so cool out here." Then, has anyone here has actually seen a lightning strike almost hit them?
Maybe Tom Cruise hasn't yet.
Yeah. I was just say I had one hit a junction box outside of my house and blow it up, and it was like right outside, and
you saw that happen. Like in front of your own eyes.
I was in the room editing, and then it's just an explosion outside, and I thought my car blew up. It was
it almost feels like a flashbang, like it just like everything in front of you, just like blink of an eye, and your goosebumps everywhere. Your hair stands up. It's a very uncomfortable feeling.
You guys ever seen any of those videos of that people capture lightning hitting areas outside their house during a storm?
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
I'm like,
just so sudden.
Yeah. Like some guy recorded it during a storm, and it's like it hits a tree right across from his house, and and then it crashes into the roof of that house across from him. I'm like, you really got to be patient if you're actually intentionally
recording.
recording that kind
right.
of thing, or it just happens completely by accident and you're lucky enough that you caught it.
Yeah, that has to be the case. I think also, something that was cool about this too was, the aftermath of like the lightning. First off, the lightning, it all had like this really interesting sound to it. Spielberg, he's an expert at sound, right? I mean, so many of these movies that we love from him, they just have these great, like the faux lists. They're just perfect, right? And Luke, you were talking about the tripods, and they have this iconic noise. I never heard the noise before, but you've seen it in clips. It had an impression, and it has an impression on pop culture still, if you're just familiar with the noise itself. So that's pretty special. And the lightning here too, it sounded irregular, and you have all these different elements that just make for a really interesting moment that kind of puts you on edge right from the beginning. And then I thought it was also clever how, this lightning, it had this, I think you said it was an EMP effect where it just disabled all the technology. And, I really enjoyed seeing sort of the scope of that. I mean, it went so far as, phones don't work. His watch wasn't working. None of the cars were able to drive, and just seeing people, back in the streets having to, talk with each other. There's no way of messaging one another in any other fashion. You have to go on the street and find a person to talk. And I thought that was just kind of clever, spending a little bit of time there and, giving everyone a reason to meet in the city square where the aliens eventually come out from under the ground. And this makes a really great introduction to the tripods, which I have right here in this picture. What a horrifying entrance to the tripods, as the tripod ascends from underneath the ground. You can't really understand how it got there, and the longer you watch the movie, the more you see that this has been a plan for, I think they said, 1 million years, for these aliens to rise one day, given the right time. And here's the time, and that's what happens. And what do you guys think made this introduction to the tripods so terrifying and just raw?
Because your brain can't even process what's going on. I mean, one thing's happening after another. The storm hits, and then all of a sudden there's a massive, like almost earthquake, and then you just see this massive, like almost right away, you see this massive device ascending from the ground. It's like, the world's fucked. I mean, what else can go wrong? This is awful. I mean, it's hopeless. I mean, and this is the first 10 minutes of the movie.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just like, it was just so much to process, and it was just so much catastrophe and annihilation.
It's like, it's really the, how they're just disintegrating all these people. Like, it's like a magnifying glass with burning a little ant.
Yeah,
the sunlight, when you think about it. But it's just quick little bursts of it, and then you track with Tom Cruise running through the crowd, and how they're all just evaporating into ashes around him. And then when he gets to the house, and the kids are like, "Dad, what's all that on you?" And he looks at himself in the mirror. He realizes he's covered in the ashes of all these people that have died, and that's a pretty traumatizing thing.
Mhm.
Really traumatizing thing if something like that were to happen to you.
Yeah, there was actually like a controversy when this movie came out because of that scene.
Yes,
Because it was so close to 9/11.
yes.
Yep. I was
And
gonna
people
bring
were
that up.
like, "What?" And I'm just going, well, it did look like how those people looked when they were walking around. I mean, it was wild, but it's pretty accurate depiction. But yeah, when those things like rise out of the ground to just the sheer size, you're just like, what the hell am I looking at? It's just, I can't imagine you looking down at a hole and then you just see this thing coming up and you're just, oh my God. Like, why wouldn't you just immediately run? I don't know.
I think that's actually realistic, that they were sort of looming around. I think you
Stunned.
see something like that, and it is so like shocking and captivating that you can't help but to stand there, deer in headlights. I thought that was kind of real. I thought that felt more honest than people just, fleeing away.
I think it depends on your survival instinct, which
Mhm.
one you got. You know what I mean?
Fight or flight.
Yeah, because I mean, I've experienced massive earthquakes, and I'm not getting close to that fault line. I don't.
Mm.
I was like, no, thank you. I don't want to fall into the earth.
Man, that sounds like a good movie right there.
Well, technically, I mean, Tremors is basically
Oh,
where I grew up, so
whoa.
and it was
All right.
pretty accurate for that time too, because it was just earthquake after earthquake. But yeah, I experienced a 7.1 earthquake and a 6.4. So yeah, those were
Oof.
pretty gnarly. That's why
Dang.
watching these people do what they're doing after an earthquake type thing, I'm like, yeah, you have different survival instincts. Most people
Well, yeah,
are
these
like,
are city
nah.
people, right?
Yeah, they don't know anything.
And this isn't like an earthquake, though, right? I mean, this is something different. They see something's under there, and you want to know what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man. I think even city people in the real world would be like, if something like that suddenly bursts up, they're like, I'm not sticking around to, look at this thing for too long. I'm getting out of here, because it's like that kind of thing really only happens in the movies. If the director just wants them to stand there like a bunch of dummies, staring up at this thing, which is clearly going to kill them in the next few minutes. Yeah, it's like only in the movies, only in the movies do you see people acting that stupid. Most. I mean, look at how people react now whenever they hear a gunshot going off. They're freaking out. They're running.
That's
well, I
true.
think the only reason why I could assume that somebody would look, go over there and look is because how the lightning just kept hitting. You know what I mean? Because it just kept hitting until the thing came down, right? And so being curious, I mean, I wouldn't do it, but thinking outside the box, if I was a curious type person in that sense, I'd be like, what the hell is this? Like, how did it hit the same spot that many times? Me, though, I'd be like, nah, I'm out. That's weird shit. I'm out.
He's like, yeah, it's okay, sweetie. It's okay, sweetie. Lightning never strikes the same place.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just realizing that sadly I would have definitely gone there because I remember I came out of the movie theaters after seeing it and someone was tying red balloons to cars and we all ran over there laughing with our phones out. I'm like, oh, that could have been terrible. But with this scene right here, though, I was a little bit surprised that we actually got to see the tripod fully out there because there were so many scenes where you see Tom Cruise staring at it and we see the tripod reflecting on the windows, we see it on the cars. So I was really happy when we actually got to see this thing. I thought it was going to be tease the entire movie into the final reveal, but I'm glad we got it.
That's a good point. I completely agree with you. And I guess that sort of takes away from the horror aspect, right? Because that's sort of the secret of horror, right? They don't show the monster until the end. And obviously they sort of wait till the end to show the real alien, but there's nothing scary about it when you actually see it. So I think that sort of, it kind of pushes away, the core being horror, even though it has like horror tunes in it. But yeah, I completely agree with you. And I was happy. I was happy because this is the kind of thing where, they show us what it is and it's horrifying and it just keeps getting worse and worse. And that's pretty impressive. If you're able to show us, your secret, you're able to show us the horrifying object, the monster this early and still lead us to believe that it is a horrifying monster that you still don't fully understand yet. Like that's pretty impressive. Yeah. But, I felt like through this sequence, there's plenty of examples of just like mindless chaos, like the new Godzilla movies, other than Godzilla -1. You got the Kong movies. You have any big like natural disaster film where you see tons of people swept up in tornadoes and earthquakes and whatever else, and you see cities fall apart, and there just doesn't feel like there's any sort of any bit of like stake to it. You don't feel bad for the people necessarily. It's like there's no identifiable people in there. It just seems like it's just like CGI mess. For this, I felt that it was that it had a deeper kind of feeling, and it wasn't that long. But seeing all these people get swept up into this mass casualty, it kind of felt like it had something. What do you guys? Why do you think that was the case for this sequence?
Well, because you got the camera tracking among the crowds as they're running. Most of those other films you were talking about, you get like these wide helicopter views of the city, and you see the people running off, below, and they're very small looking. They look like a bunch of insects running. But here you're actually moving amongst the crowd, like you're running away from the tripod with them. So that makes it a lot more intense and more personal. I mean, like you got that one shot of the guy who gets vaporized, and he's holding the camera, and then the camera is on the ground. It's still shooting footage of these people getting blasted by the cannons and everything like that. That's a really, really cool shot, because it's like, I think this movie came out around the same time when you started having a lot of much more low budget films where it was like a POV shot, like you had the Paranormal Activities or Cloverfield, those kind of films where it looked like it was just a documentary that was being shot. So I think this was kind of a nod to that style of filmmaking a little bit there. Just, that Spielberg kind of said, like, how, I kind of like what those guys did, but I'm still doing classic Hollywood in the modern setting and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. I like the word you used, Ian. It was very personal. It did have that personal feeling to it, because Kong, and you don't care about the humans.
No,
you want
ants,
but
Meeble ants.
Yeah. I mean, they're just throwing each other's buildings. All the buildings in the city are being knocked over. But in this movie, it's like, you can really feel the gravity of the situation, and it's very devastating situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think they also added, like, what made it like harder to like take in was, you had moments where you see the people, you get these close-up shots, and they're like regular people, like, moms, dads, normal guys, old people, and they're just getting zapped and they're getting dusted. And even worse yet, you see Tom Cruise, which is like, in the beginning, he's the cool guy, right? He's Mr. Chill, and he's like, kind of freaking out after all this is going on around him. And that's sort of, in turn makes us freak out, because, we sort of find security in our main hero, and he himself is more so insecure in this moment because he's not safe, as is everybody. Nobody is safe here. And, even worse yet, like one of you guys said earlier, that what was particularly impressionable is when he goes home and he has all that ash on him. It's like, what a horrifying image. And you see him in the bathroom and he's like wiping his head. It's just tons of ash coming off of him. And that's like, you can't even imagine how many people that is, how many of their ashes have been dusted onto him, giving him this dirty persona. It's like, crap, he is carrying the remnants of probably dozens of people's bodies.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So that's a lot. There's a lot of weight here in this moment.
Yeah. It definitely sells it. And plus Tom Cruise's reaction in that scene when he's looking at himself in the mirror and he's desperately just trying to get it out of his hair, wash it off and everything. He sells that right there. He sells the just the sheer disbelief and trauma of what must be going through his head in that moment, and is just trying to get rid of it because his kids see it and he doesn't know how to describe it. He doesn't want to describe something like that to those kids. Like, this is all what remains of a bunch of dead people that's all over me. Because think about having to tell something like that to your child.
Yeah.
Well, he kind of goes into dad mode finally. It's like something traumatic has to happen to him to finally pull his head out of his ass and become a dad. And it's like how you were saying, like, imagine telling that to somebody. It's like, no, you want to protect your kids from that kind of stuff. Like, because you can see him kind of like snap, when they were like, what is this on you type deal. And he's like, oh my God, I got to get this off me. and I'm not
Yeah.
gonna like tell them. But obviously, he kind of informs his son because his son is old enough to
Yeah.
deal with those kinds of things, but not his daughter. It's like you gotta protect her from that kind of stuff.
There's levels to this.
Yes, there is.
I liked how he scolded them more, but the defiance it showed, like when when there was a serious situation and they wouldn't come with it, just like, get your ass in the car. Like, I loved that. Like,
Yes.
they
So that
needed
was
that.
nice.
Oh man.
Well, see, that's
We're
the
all
thing
for
is
that.
like how you're
Yeah.
saying they needed that the whole time. They've needed that. They needed their dad
Yeah.
to just be like, shut up.
I mean,
Yep.
did their stepdad even say a word? I feel like he was just there for like a split second.
I think so.
No, he just kisses Dakota Fanning on the cheek, so
He was
clearly he's he's that stepdad that clearly can just give her whatever she wants and buy her love and stuff like that, and clearly it's working.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get to our friends in the chat before we move on to the second chapter. Thank you all for talking with us. If you have any thoughts, let us know in the chat and in the comments after the stream's over. Our friend Mega Spidey Man for €2. What's up, buddy? Thanks for your support as always. What is your guys' fave cruise film and why? Fave alien invasion tale and why?
Oh,
Favorite
that's
Tom
It's probably
Cruise?
this one, honestly. I mean,
Same.
Really?
Oh man, you got to watch some more Tom Cruise.
Yeah, The Last
Yeah.
Samurai.
We need to watch The Mummy.
Rain Man is 2.
Yep. Rain Man is a good one.
I'm all
Jerry
about Top Gun. I
Jerry
don't care.
Maguire?
Top Gun.
Jerry
No.
Maguire's great.
Oblivion?
No, man, no.
Oh, dude. You're in for
Interview
a
with the
treat.
Vampire is amazing.
I really
too.
liked Mission Impossible, Ghost Protocol, all the way through till Fallout. Mainly
third-
because
The third one's the best one.
it was okay.
That was
I,
the most realistic one before they got crazy with everything.
I liked Ghost Protocol because it was directed by Brad Bird, and I liked seeing him transition from animation to live action with that. And plus, the Burj Khalifa is still one of the most epic stunt scenes that he's ever done, except for the opening of the next film, Rogue Nation, when he's riding on the side of the plane. That's really cool. And then as far as alien films go, probably Super 8.
That's a good one.
That's a
Super
good
8
one.
is so underrated.
The best
Yeah.
alien invasion tale is
Can I
Signs.
guess? I was going to say Signs, yeah.
That is the correct
Signs
answer.
is really good.
That's the correct answer.
But is Signs alien?
They're
Yeah.
lame
Yeah, it
aliens.
is.
That's the
Dude,
question, huh?
Kyle-
See?
Kyle changed my opinion of that movie entirely.
Wow.
I
But
like
this, where he's
the-
talking about
yeah.
how the little girl drinks the water and it's like it blesses it. When I heard that, I just stared off into space for like 30 seconds, like, wow, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Wow. Your
Yeah,
eyes were
the
open.
movie's not alien.
Nice. Let's see. Omega Spider-Man, hello there. Have you guys ever seen the Time Machine films or any the
Yes.
Invisible Man films? Worth a watch. Time Machine.
The Invisible Man films
I've
are
seen the-
amazing.
I've seen the time.
Isn't Hollow Man the Invisible Man?
Yeah, it's one. It's like a
Technically.
One
horrible
version
reiteration of it.
Ah,
horrible.
Well, I mean, in the sense of they make
love
him
him making-
so unlikable because he's such a
Yeah.
shit in the original one, which I love. But it's like you just went 10 notches this way. It's like, come on,
The
Kevin
only-
Bacon.
The only Invisible Man I've seen is the one from League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yes.
Oh,
That's a great one. Why
gotta
did we ever
watch
get a
some more.
sequel of that?
No, because they handled that first film so badly, and plus Sean Connery just didn't want to come back to movies after that. And honestly, yeah, it is a pretty haphazard film when you look at it. I mean, it could have been great, really could have been great if they simplified it a little bit more, but it was all over the place, unfortunately. Yeah, just that. I think really only that first opening where you're introduced to Sean Connery is the best part in the whole film. He's like, "Roll Britannia."
Nice.
Yeah. Sorry.
Let's see. No, you're good. Brock File. Good evening, boys. Yes, even you, Ashley. Haha. How's everyone
Hello.
doing tonight?
Hey,
Good seeing you,
Brock.
Brock File. Thanks for joining us, Brock.
Good,
File.
Brock.
Doing good. Oh, look who it is. Wilkie's Movies
Hey,
and
Corey.
Music.
Good
Member. Thank you for being a member, Wilkie. New member videos every week, people. Support the channel. We greatly appreciate it. Wilkie's Movies and Music. Well. What do we have here? Oh, I know. Lots of friends here. Ashley's here. I'm here. World War Joe, Luke,
I know.
and Ian. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm here too.
Yes,
Like a shot
Ian
to
is
me.
the friend. He is the friend. Yes. Mr. Terry, 2315. Great movie and far better than Disclosure Day.
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel
Far
like I'm the
better.
only one that didn't hate that movie. I'm sorry.
I haven't
Shame
seen it
on
yet,
you.
and even I don't.
I haven't
and even
seen
I
it
don't
yet,
care
so I
to see
can't
it.
judge.
Okay.
Well, did it change your fates? Because
Yes.
isn't what like Disclosure Day did? Did War of the Worlds do that as well?
Joe, don't call me out like that.
Ooh,
No, I'm
sorry.
kidding. I'm kidding. No, when I read that, I was just like, dude, Spielberg, shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up.
That was weird. Like, no.
No,
mean,
it didn't make me
technically-
change my
technically
face.
Any alien movie, if you think about it, but it's like, yeah, it's a movie.
Yeah, right.
Proctophile. You know, I actually heard that recording of that broadcast in my middle school class when one time, and our teacher told us about that. How a lot of people thought it was a real event that was happening, and they were all freaking out. You know, they were literally thinking, "Oh no, we're being attacked by aliens! It's real!" And then at the very end of the recording, they say this was a skit performed by actors, and they're like, "What?"
Yeah, so Proctfall says here, fun fact, War of the Worlds was broadcast as a radio play in 1938, and everyone listening thought it was real. The response was pretty crazy, apparently.
I remember when that
That's
first
funny.
happened. That was quite scary.
Were you there for that?
Wilkie
Yeah,
would
I think
know.
It was a class.
Wilkie would know. Wilkie was
Oh,
about
wow.
30 years old when that happened. He had his first kid, first few kids.
Also, there was a great Hey Arnold episode about the War of the Worlds broadcast. I don't know if you guys ever
Yes.
seen that one. Yeah.
Really?
The Halloween one.
It was awesome. I love that.
All right, Gen X man. Imagine if that same radio audience in 1938 was shown this movie adaptation. Eek. Yeah, they'd be freaking out. They definitely think it's real.
Oh, they kind of freaked out with the original one too. I was like, it's not. It's kind of silly, but at the same time, you got to think about the time.
Ooh,
Well, you know-
Proctfall says Gen Z reviews Tremors when? That's a good choice. We'll have to have
Tremors
Ashley on for that one.
It's
But
so good.
Sure.
I
like
know
this.
that like the very first film, which was just a 5-second clip of a train coming into a station. When people saw that for the first time, they freaked out because they thought it was coming straight towards them.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Scary thing is, if something like that happened today, I don't think we'd know it was fake for a while.
Yeah.
You're
I think
probably
about it
right.
realistic, like with social media and everything like that. Like, how would we know anymore?
Yeah.
Our friend Cassie's here. Cass Styles. Hey guys, I love this movie. I still have nightmares of this movie.
I could
Dang.
understand that.
Poor Cassie. Good
Wait
stuff.
till
Oh, and Box Office Bro are gifted
Ooh.
5 memberships.
The generous brawler.
Wow. So let's see who are the lucky winners.
And they said
Norman
Moses was humble.
Conquest, Daxinar, Yo Cutlass, Joshua Atwell, and Detox. Enjoy a free membership.
Wow.
Nice.
That's sweet.
So sweet. Moses. Proctfall loved League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It was amazing. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
it's-
thinking of the Ungentlemanly Warfare one.
Oh,
Very different. Very different. It's like
Okay.
it's basically Avengers with classic literature characters. You know,
Hmm.
you got Alan Quatermain, played by Sean Connery, who was the original Indiana Jones. You got Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. They're like the Hulk character. You got Captain Nemo. You got the Invisible
Oh.
Man. You got Mina Harker from Dracula. And,
Wow.
and you got Tom Sawyer as a Pinkerton agent who teams up with them. You got Dorian Gray, and the villain, who it's at first you think he's a Phantom of the Opera. It turns out to be Professor Moriarty.
Oh, wow. All right.
Yeah,
I
Cool.
thought it was a banger.
it was fun. Don't get me wrong; it's a fun movie. You know, it's interesting, especially since it's technically Sean Connery's last real film that he did before he decided to retire, he definitely tries his best with it, even though he clearly didn't. He only did it because before that he had passed on The Matrix, and then he'd also passed on playing Gandalf in Lord of the Rings, because he was like, I don't understand what's so fascinating about these stories. But then when those movies were big hits, and then they came to him with this, he's like, well, I suppose I'd better do this if it's going to actually work, because this seems to be happening more so now often than anything. And of course, it was the worst experience of his life, and he was like, I'm done with this. I don't like where Hollywood's going.
Nice. Good time to bow out. In the second chapter here, so we're moving along here. Finally returning home to his kids, Ray steals a working van and drives his children through highways filled with terrified crowds and burning wreckage. They reach the quiet suburban home of Ray's ex-wife's parents, only learn that the alien threat is plaguing most of the world. Robbie grows restless and wants to join the fight, while Ray focuses solely on keeping the family moving forward towards Boston. Along the packed road, a swarm of desperate people drag the three out of the car and viciously steal the ride. And I think once we get to the end of the chapter, that was one of the most perplexing moments in the film for me. Wow. But before we get to that, I just have to say something I was really impressed with this movie was these beautiful, elaborate sets. And, you know, the one that comes to mind the most, and I think everybody probably is most familiar with, is the plane crash set.
Oh, yes.
You know, I'm not sure if it's supposed to be directly correlated with this movie or not, but when I was at Universal, the Universal California, the studio tour, you know, you're on the bus or a train or a boat, I can't remember what it was, and they show you the plane wreckage. And it looked just absolutely spectacular. And then you see it here in this movie, and it's just phenomenal. It looks perfect. It looks 100% real. Do you guys know, was that the same? Was that the correlation? Was it supposed to be War of the Worlds, or was that just okay?
Yeah, because they have the, you know, the Jaws as well too. So like they do a bunch of Spielberg down there, and it's just like, okay, there's more people. There's more people than Spielberg. But this scene was awesome because I did that tour as well, and I saw this, and I was just like, I just want to get out and like take pictures.
Oh, it was so cool.
That's a great example of old school set designs and practical effects, you know, using, you know, the props and everything, and also like just the cinematography through all that. You know, how they set all that up. You know, it starts out with him coming up from the basement, and then you got that one shot tracking shot of him going through the house, and then coming out, and there's that half of that plane just lying there on its side. It's like, and then you see the guy climbing in there trying to get all that stuff. I mean, like that is just some of the best practical set pieces I've ever seen.
Yeah. I don't think there's any disaster set that tops this. I think this is the best. I mean, it's perfect. It looks exactly like what you would think. And it's funny because, you know, in this sequence, you know, it looks like while they're in this, I think they're in the basement. Yeah, they're definitely in the basement here. And you just hear all of the damage being done up top, and you're kind of wondering what's going on. And I believe the basement like implodes a little bit. Yeah, because they go into a separate room. It's like another safe space. And they come out, and it's like, wow, it was worse than you possibly imagine. A plane literally collapsed onto the house here and destroyed everything. And you saw, like, if this was rated R, I mean, this would be a really disgusting scene, you know, with all these dead people. But, you know, it was definitely way cleaner.
I'm surprised the movie actually didn't get an R rating, given how much more graphic it actually does become later on. When you think about it.
With all the blood.
We didn't see any dead bodies on the plane. So what exactly happened in the scene? It got, you know, shot by the machine, but everyone got vaporized, or
maybe the aliens harvested them.
Maybe, yeah.
That has to be it, right? And
then no one else could fly it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they take away all the passengers and then the pilot, and then it crashes down. Or the the plane just shut down because all the electricity and
Yeah, I think that's what happened.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just wanted to show this because I thought this was just remarkable. I was really
was
impressed
great.
by this beautiful scene. And it's like, you just got to respect the ingenuity, right? And the creativity. And, I'm sorry, Ashley, Disclosure Day, there wasn't a single moment that was breathtaking like this. Like there wasn't,
No, it wasn't.
there wasn't a set in sight that makes you think, wow, this is how you do it.
No.
Mhm.
Well, no. I'm not one of those Disclosure Day apologists. No,
Okay.
I just didn't hate it. This movie
Okay.
is 10 times better.
Yeah. Oh gosh. What do you guys think about this? Because I think something special about this movie is that it shows humans in a pretty unpleasant light. What truths did you guys see in the very beginning that Spielberg made clear of what human tendencies are under like extreme survival conditions?
It shows that everyone can turn into a selfish prick. I mean, everyone for themselves. I mean, they were, trying to pull a little girl out of the car. They were trying to drive off with the little girl. They were pulling guns on each other, threatening each other, crowding the streets. That is a pretty accurate, display of what could happen if, a catastrophic, event like this happens, like Walking Dead. That's one of them. One of our buddies mentioned that tonight, The Walking Dead. I mean, everyone's those that are left and those that are trying to like turn into leaders and dictators and all that. So yes, selfish. Well, I mean, I want to say selfish, more being desperate, just acting out of desperation. I mean, what can you do? I mean, you can't just
I would say the word is fear. I think that's the worst part of it. Because remember, years ago, people were fist fighting over toilet paper in supermarkets, but this is, way, way worse than that. And even the people, even if you get away, it's like, how far are you going on this car? You're not going that far at all.
Yeah, you're gonna run out of gas eventually.
Yeah, the gas stations aren't going to be working at all. All the power's out.
Yeah, and then I think it's more about like people resorting to their more animal natures out of a need to survive. Like you see that part where the guy is literally trying to rip through their windshield, and he doesn't care that it's cutting into his hands and everything. I'm like,
yeah,
that's
insane.
Yeah,
that's a crazy one.
It's ripped away the windshield.
That's the most primal moment I think of any human in the movie. Like, gosh,
it's kind of like this episode from that show Primal. I don't know if any of you've seen it. That Gendy Tartakovsky show on Adult Swim, where they have one episode that takes place on a night in Victorian era England, and you have Darwin and these other scientists discussing how, like, with the right set of circumstances, and the need to survive, man will resort to his more animal nature. And you kind of see that happen. You see that happen in the episode where a patient from an insane asylum gets loose, breaks into their house, and they literally are, as they're fighting him, they start off using guns, and then when that doesn't work, because the guy is so fast and he's like a wild animal, they resort to using swords, and then they end up using bows and arrows and spears and stuff, until finally one of the guys literally resorts to fighting him with just a piece of broken stick, and goes just as berserk as this guy, and then he realizes at the end, whoa, you were right. And it is pretty understandable that people would react that way when you think about it, because it's like something that has only ever happened in a science fiction movie or book that you thought was, up until this point, you thought, well, until you prove that it's real, it's only just, a story. It's not real. But now that it has become real, it's like the world's turned upside down, and they're just reacting like, how am I supposed to survive and stuff? And I'm like, I gotta find shelter, I gotta find someplace safe, I gotta find food, and but it's like they're turning on each other in order to do it, because they're all thinking about themselves.
Yeah, I think the other thing was, geez, I almost called him Brad Pitt. Tom Cruise. He
You love
I
Brad
thought
Pitt,
something
man.
that kind of, yeah, Brad's great. Well, something that stood out to me, like just early on with the van, like taking the van, he gave that guy so many opportunities to
Mhm.
come in the van with them. Get in the van. You're going to
Yeah.
die. Get in the van. He wouldn't listen, and he he shut the door on him, and there he goes. He dies right there on the spot. And the thing is, like, you will protect your family first. And that guy was a friend to him, and he gave him a chance. It didn't work, but friends are secondary. And strangers, I mean, that's not even in the question, right? And that's something that is kind of continued throughout the movie is, family first. Tom Cruise, his mission solely relies on the family, his two kids there. Nothing else matters. And other people that are kind of friendly, they come into the mix, but they don't really matter all that much because the family is the core. You protect the family, you protect your kids. And like he runs into another some family friends, he runs into some neighbors he knows. That's sort of secondary. He can't really help them. Later on in the movie, we get another instance where he he makes friends with Tib Robbins. And, it seems like it's a decent connection there, but, he is not so much of an asset towards the end, and he has to take care of him to protect his family. So I thought that was just kind of an interesting realization of the human condition, protect your family first and yourself above all.
Mm-hmm.
Very realistic. And I look forward to the Tim Robbins scene later on to talk about.
Yeah.
That was probably one of my favorite scenes of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a very interesting scene.
Very realistic.
How well did you guys think? We're talking about Tom Cruise here and his at first he's very immature and then he's sort of, he's forced to step up into this leadership role. Do you think he plays that well? Do you think it was a pretty smooth transition? And do you think that he sort of plays this protective figure well, or does he miss the mark?
I think he plays it very well, especially the scene just where they're at the mom's house, and he's like, "Oh, well, let's play with the bread. I'll make you guys some sandwiches. We'll play some cards." Like he's in that mode of, okay, I now have to keep these kids calm, and I thought that was very realistic of just like how the entire movie he's just trying to save them at the same time trying to pad the horrors of stuff a little bit.
Yeah. I also like how he always, when they're like in a crowd or something like that, he always grabs his daughter and like holds her. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he doesn't just hold her hand so then she freaking gets lost in some shit because they love doing that in movies. But this one, he like grabs her up, like especially that boat scene when they're getting on the ferry or whatever. And he has her, but it's just like every other scene he's like grabbing her up because it's like in a moment like that it's like, okay, well, I run faster than her and I can carry her weight type deal. And that's like, to me, that's like, well, that you're a dad, you're supposed to be able to do things like that. Like you protect that kid and his son. I mean, he makes sure he's there, but like, yeah, it's like when he gets by all the people that are evaporated, it literally, it finally just clicks on him. And I think it was a very realistic snap into reality of like, holy shit, I actually have to step up to be a dad type thing. So yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say he definitely becomes more protective. There were moments where I think he was still really unsure of how to handle the situation. But as the story does progress, yeah, you see him become more of a, the father figure that they need him to be, and he's willing to, he's definitely willing to keep them safe to whatever extent he has to. But especially like his kids still, I mean, his son mainly does not make it easy for him, especially with him always trying to run off and join in the fight and everything like that.
Gosh, I hate that.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so
like
annoying.
so cringe.
It's like, what does this kid think is going to happen? I mean, because he's seen what these things can do. He's seen the damage that they cause. He didn't see it happen firsthand like his dad did, but it's clearly obvious there's no taking the chances that you have of taking on these things and in a full on gunfight and winning are very, very slim, basically zero.
Well, something my pops and we always joke about, and it's like the epitome of just pathetic modern storytelling is in, I don't know how old, maybe it was a long time ago. There's this Transformers movie came out, and a little girl was somehow in the mix with these Transformers, and she says, "I want to fight," and she wants to fight the Transformers. It's like, oh my gosh. Oh,
That's when girl bosses really started to come around, and of course you had
yeah.
to have a
It's like unbelievable. And here you are here with Robbie, and oh, he's just totally insufferable. But we'll get to that. We'll talk more about that later. We're not there yet. I think that's the next chapter. Yeah, it is definitely the next chapter. But I want to talk about this scene. I have this picture here of the little girl screaming. This is actually a pretty good reason to scream. This is an awful sequence when they're driving through this just massive horde of people. And everyone at first is kind of calm towards them. They're sort of just, tapping on the glass, asking for a ride. And then it just quickly descends into total madness. And as you said, you have a guy who's like clawing through the front window, trying to get in. And Jesus, hands are getting cut up and everything. And people turn into like animals, like zombies here. And what happens is, the little girl, she's in the car, but everybody's getting pulled out of it, and guys are stepping in and they're trying to stuff themselves in there. And there's literally this little girl alone in the car, and the brother's getting beat up outside. And then Tom Cruise is getting into some fights, and he pulls a gun and he fires some shots in the sky. And eventually another guy gets the upper hand on him. And that's where you see that he is, he's not exactly this action hero. He's got a gun on him, and he doesn't do anything cool or crazy. He puts his gun down to keep his family safe. And this guy's standing there, and he wants the car. And he's just totally got this blank expression in his face. And Tom Cruise is like, "Hey, well, can my daughter come out? I need her to come out. Rachel has to come out." And the guy, he's like, it doesn't even compute for him. And he looks in, and he's still got this dead gaze. And he's like, "Okay, yeah, she can get out." But it's like he didn't even know what was happening. Like, his mind was so blurry, and his like madness had totally overtaken any common human decency that he had within himself. So it made for a really interesting moment. And then, crazy enough, first off, the car, it's not like it's going to get you very far anyway. And second, he's driving away, and some other guy pulls a gun on him and shoots him. And then you can imagine this probably goes down the line several times over. So it shows you just how dark things got. But did you guys think that this was like the darkest sequence in the film? And what do you think made this feel so dreadful and painful to watch, especially against, everything going on with the aliens?
Darkest scene when it comes to humanity. I can't compare it to the sequence of the aliens, because those are you can't really compare the humans versus the aliens. The aliens are just unbeatable at this point in time. But when it comes to humanity and how everyone's adapting to it, yes, it's different kind of dark.
Yeah, I'd honestly say I think this scene is more darker than the part where the people are getting vaporized, because it's like, yeah, that's dark in and of itself. But we all see that that's visual effects, that's CGI, that's fantasy. This is something like if you have some crazy disaster that happened where a whole the whole East Coast is without power, and there's like fires or something like that, bombs going off, you could see people reacting like this to if the situation was that severe. Yeah, you could see people acting like this to where they just become animals. We see it displayed in disaster films all the time, with like people destroying public property. I mean but it's like we've seen it in the news the last few years with all those riots and everything. It's so that just shows you this is something that is very real, that can potentially happen. Like just people destroying public property, destroying people's cars, and defacing everything, starting fires. We've seen it happen in reality, and more so in the last few years.
Yeah, yeah. People will resort to these means, right? And the quality of life conditions are so much worse in this position. Clearly, I mean, you can't even imagine how utterly horrifying and detrimental this entire situation is. I mean, geez, there is no hope in this world that that the military can do anything, that you can do anything, and there's no hope or security that there's a single safe space to be, because these things just the tripods, they just have a way of intercepting humans upon every step of escape. It's really crazy. So it's even worse that you have all these people, and geez, they're part of the problem too. It's already bad enough that you got all these tripods wandering around killing everybody. Now you got all these other people that are just as mad.
It's like, why did he just drive so slow? You knew that these people were going to try and take the car from him, and they're going to try and break into it and everything. If it was me, I would have just drove right through them.
I was surprised how he's going towards the people and not like taking side streets. He's not looking at a map and thinking, okay, we're going to go around.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, like, what was the plan? We're going to drive 2 miles an hour and no one's going to mess with us?
His intentions were to drive through everybody until, there was a mother carrying a infant baby.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
That's the only thing that.
Yeah, that derailed him. Yeah. You can appreciate like Tom Cruise, once he goes full dad mode. I mean, he'll do anything to protect his daughter, and it's funny because you didn't get that sense from him in the beginning, but it just gets more and more apparent. And, we'll get to the ultimate choice he makes later in, I think, 2 chapters. But, I also thought it was kind of strange how, you have all these people here, and this movie is such an interesting study on the human condition under, extreme stress and vulnerability, and the quest for survival. And all these people are here along this street, and they all seem pretty aimless, right? And I'm kind of thinking, them all being out here in the street, I feel like it's sort of like the hive mind sort of illness, where one person starts doing something and everyone follows, and that's like the bit of security they can have. And maybe they saw the military at some point go down this road, but everybody's just kind of stalling here, and really, it doesn't seem like there's any reason to even be hanging out around this area. Yet all these people are just like stuck here in the road, like they can't even think for themselves anymore.
Yeah, that part kind of confused me too, because there really was. It's not like, oh, here's a safe place to go, or oh, there's a some kind of radio signal that's telling us to go here. They're all just going, like you said, just following each other down this road.
They're probably like, if you had like a deleted scene or something, it was probably telling you like a broadcast or something being like, go here type deal. You know how like all this military checkpoint type deal, but it is very like you said, like very hive mind, because I don't know, if I was in this position, you wouldn't be seeing me. I'm not going to be in a crowd of freaking people. Like, I always just, when I see scenes like this, I'm just kind of like, you're just asking for trouble, because okay, you could take the car out of the situation, and these people are just congregating, just walking, and they're already stressed out. They have no idea what's going to happen type deal. And then, I don't know, somebody trips over somebody and hits them or bumps into them. You're seriously not going to tell me that those people aren't going to just like start going like full zombie mode on them or something? You know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't know. But I mean, it does show a certain type of person, that's for sure. Especially, when he's like, I just want my daughter, like, have the vehicle, just give me my daughter. And then the guy kind of like is second guessing that at first. I'm like, dude, this guy's sick. Like, I would be like, I'm going to literally like lay you out if you don't give me my daughter. If I was a dude, even as a woman, I know I can't beat a man, but like I'm gonna try like hell if
Yeah.
my kid is in there. Like what? I mean, just give him his kid. I'd be like, here, have the vehicle, go away. Just give me my kid.
That's the craziness, right? I mean, it's like it wasn't even a thought in his mind. That shows you like there's just something going around there. That was so
Yeah.
interesting. Such a simple little moment that really just stands out. And that's art, right? When you're able to capture that. Those little things make a big difference. You know, they stick with you. And yeah, I appreciate that about this movie. Why do you think everybody like fell into this hive mind, fell into this like sickness so fast? Right? I mean, I don't think it's been very long, maybe a day or two, and everybody is just a total zombie. Why do you think that is the case?
Because they know that resources are probably very low. You know how many people are probably in the grocery, supermarket that was destroyed, and food is running very short. Water is running very short, so they're in purge mode.
Yeah.
And plus, most people, especially today, are incapable of living without technology and without resources being provided to them, especially whether it's from the government or whether it's from big corporations and stuff like that. So many people are just so used to things being easy for them, or at least easier than they used to be. If they had lived long ago, like in the wilderness and all that stuff, like 100 years ago, they'd have to learn how to survive on their own, and they'd have to be able to think for themselves, learn about like plant life that they could use as medicine, and what kind of plant life is poisonous, to be close to water, because that's where animals are going to come to get a drink, and that's how you can hunt and stuff like that. You see all these videos of like bushcraft people, going out and digging up like these ditches that they turn into houses, and you see how they're able to use like the pieces of wood and leaves and stuff and start a fire. They still have like equipment that they bring with them, but for the most part they don't have that much, and they manage to actually make make a decent place to stay and sleep and keep warm while they're out there. It's not just a typical tent that they put up. They literally spend days out there digging holes into the ground that is like a hobbit hole, if you think about, and when you think about it. And they also manage to find ways to have take a shower, without like the excessive plumbing and stuff like that. They get creative, but most people, unfortunately, don't do that because we're just so used to, living in, housing communities with, air conditioning, electricity, and stuff. I know I probably would be like one of these people that just resorts like this if I didn't know what else to do, and I don't. I'd be like, how am I supposed to survive with all this stuff?
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, we don't even know what it would be like to lose like all of the simple things that we all need, like using a John or food, air conditioning, right? That makes sense. And I also think that using a John, I always like, I'm just stuck. That's what I call it. But also it's like what they went through is so like catastrophic and scarring. I mean, it's not just simply like a natural disaster. I mean, everyone's loved ones are dying on the spot. Nobody's safe. There's no security at all. The system has totally failed and crumbled. You've probably lost all your possessions. You have no family members left and no friends, all in one day, right? I mean, that's like it. I think your mind would just melt if that happened to you. And I feel like that's probably what happened to all these people here. So no institutions were keeping them safe. Let's see what chat says here, and then we'll move on to the next chapter. Our friend Sly Jester. What's up, Sly? Good seeing you, man. I wish I could hang out longer, but got to be up in 5 hours for work. Have fun, everybody. Hey, well, you stayed up late with us.
Boo,
5
stay
hours.
on.
Yeah, stay up for 5 more hours. No sleep, all nighter. Yeah, thanks, Sly. Good seeing you, man. Proc file. The government revealed that UFOs are real a couple years back. A bit surprising that no one seemed to care. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Like all this footage releases and nobody cares. Like, cool, nice.
Whoa, here's some lights on a grainy footage. Whoa.
Yeah, that's
I don't
good.
know.
Well, that's good.
Aren't you freaked? That was the weirdest thing. Like, we didn't care. It was like you're showing us the blurriest thing with one dot.
That's because we're so used to seeing all this stuff in movies and TV shows, and it's like, you know, we want something a little bit more extravagant, but then even then it'd be like, we're still not going to believe it. It'll just be a bunch of CGI or AI now.
Yeah. Proc file. People are capable of incredible things when their loved ones are in harm's way. That's for sure. He says, perfect example. The strongest woman in cinema history is Ruth in Dante's Peak, where she physically holds her grandbabies over her head while lava destroys her legs. Respect. Yikes.
Puts him in the old canoe and walks.
Is that the one with Pierce Brosnan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I have seen that. I can't remember that scene, though. It was a long time ago. Nice.
I only saw it once.
You know, it kind of reminds me, like, their relationship, you know, Tom Cruise and him. It just reminds me of kind of like a more tension-filled, less respect version of in The Patriot with Mel Gibson and Heath Ledger, because you know how like he goes off and he's like, I'm going to do this for my country type deal. And I feel because we're like, oh, I'm going to go in the military because, you know, 9/11 happened. I'm going to serve my country type deal. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, it's your own prerogative. But that always kind of reminded me of that. And it was just like, yeah, but make it less annoying.
Yeah, literally, please.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
See, at least with Heath Ledger in The Patriot, he's a much more likable character.
Yes, that's what I
Yeah.
mean. Like, this is like a shittier version of that.
And plus,
yeah.
plus with him, we learn about his sense of patriotism and what he wants to do. But this kid, it just kind of comes out of nowhere when you think about it. It's like he just wants to run off and fight with these guys. It's like, what do you think you're gonna do, kid? You know, even these soldiers are not gonna make it. I mean, it's futile, you know. And it's like, I mean, if you want this kid to actually feel like a hero going off to try and save everybody, I mean, I'd say the best.
Because I agree with you, but isn't that one scene, you know, when the military's driving by and he's like kind of like shaking, like, what are you doing type deal? It was like before this scene. And he's just like, oh, I gotta go, you know, I gotta do this type thing. And it's just like, my guy, you're like barely 12. Stop.
He's useless. He can't do anything here. They can't even do anything.
Well, I was hoping after the scene where he rescues the people on the ferry that this would kind of bond them for the rest of the movie. And they're like, you know what, we're going to get rid of the sun now. You're not going to see him to the very end. It's like, but you could have now had that we're working together more thing.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's like they didn't even stay committed to this because, like you said, they bring him back at the very end. Like somehow he survived conveniently, but it's like just. The kid runs off into the explosion. Yeah. Just let him die, okay? So that at least there's some weight to it.
I'm so glad you said that.
Yeah, I was like, please, let him die.
I wanted both of them to care about you. You're not my dad. You were never my dad. Tim is my dad. Might as well say that or whatever that guy's name is. Oh gosh, this was rough. Somehow he survives this encounter. Somehow. It's really baffling that he survived that. I mean, it got scorched earth like 5 seconds later.
It's a Spielberg movie. The family's got to be together at the end.
Yeah. Well, I think that, I think this could have been played off better if the actor was better too. Both of these kid actors were terrible. They were both awful. Terrible performances. I don't know if it's all direction here. I mean, he just everything like this young guy, he was just so cringe the whole time. Like I
Yeah,
just
he
wasn't
was.
moved. I wasn't inspired. This is supposed to be sort of an inspiring scene, really. I mean, you should be kind of proud that he wants to step up to help out, but no, not inspiring. Didn't work at all. And I think some of that you got to blame to the actor.
It was a little strange that he just wanted to run up there and do what? Like I could see maybe
Right.
if a soldier was dead and he picked up a gun and ran over the hill, that's different. But
Yeah,
I don't know what it was. But actually, it was a Scary Movie 3 did a perfect parody of this, and where it kind of made a lot more sense.
It's like if he I'm seeing in my head if he did grab a gun from a dead soldier, he's running up the hill and then suddenly he trips and
Just like
wow. Yeah, he just gets zapped. Oh, boo.
no, he falls on the gun and it shoots
like
himself.
World War Z.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There
there
shoots
you go.
himself.
I've never
Yes.
seen that.
It's a crazy scene.
That's a good one. You know what was also? I thought overall, if it weren't for, this scene, it was an interesting moment because I thought it was another one of those really, like strong, like captivating, hard moments to watch because we had a much more interesting conflict in the background. So as Tom Cruise is trying to pull his son away from harm's way desperately, he can't control him. He really can't. He's trying his best. He's pleading with him. Behind him in the background, Rachel is under a tree, and these two worried parents are trying to lure her away. They think that she's being erratic. They think that she's tripping balls, thinking that, her dad is up ahead. He's going to be coming back for her. They think he's dead, and they're trying to lure her away. And she's so vulnerable and young, she can't resist them. So you have him looking in the back, and he can't do anything for her while he's holding on to him. And he has to make a choice, and he makes that choice to let him go to save her. And what an interesting dynamic, because those two parents, like what they were doing is heinous, but they don't mean it to be heinous. They're trying to do the right thing, but their choices are bad. They're bad choices because they are making this situation much more difficult for our hero, for our protagonist. And I thought the tension was just really gripping, despite this twerp here being insanely annoying and just becoming that much more unlikable.
What he should have done is just knocked him out with one punch, throw him over his shoulder, and then go there and grab the girl.
That's
all you had to do.
genius.
That's
That
all
would
you
have
had
been
to do.
funny. I would have liked that, actually. That sounds great.
Yeah, he's like, Dad, let me go. Dad, let me go. And he's like, just shut up.
Yes,
Gosh.
the audience would have cheered so hard. I bet.
Oh yes.
Yes, they're like, yes, finally.
Yeah, the crowd erupts, definitely. So once we get past this moment, the family, they try to get on the ship to escape, and unfortunately, there's another tripod that's erecting from far into the background. And something strange is the ship workers and like the military guys, they won't allow more people to get on the ship, even though there is tons of room left.
Yeah.
What do you guys think this was supposed to mean? Was Spielberg trying to show us something here? Why wouldn't they let more people jump onto the ship to escape?
Because there's an alien coming, they gotta go. And also, what I loved about the scene is just how quiet it was. How you're seeing the tripod in the distance, and that there's nowhere to run. So even if they left immediately like they did, or they stayed for more people, they were screwed either way.
Yeah, pretty much. And also, I wouldn't be surprised if they were trying to show like the incompetence of the U.S. military and the government handling something like that, like just trying to get out of there as fast as possible. I mean, on the one hand, it's like, yeah, I believe that the government is pretty incompetent if something like this happens. But at the same time, it's like, as far as the military goes, hey, these guys are the ones doing all the work. They're trying to handle the situation. They're out there in the middle of it, not the government. So it's like, I mean, I get it. You make really bad decisions under pressure sometimes, and of course you see that happening here, where they see the tripod coming through the trees and they just want to get out of there as fast as possible, and they feel like they're somehow safer on the water, but of course they're not.
Yeah, it's a really strange sequence. I think that there's like, you can't. I think there was just so much going on there in that moment, and I don't know if it was exactly supposed to be like a message, but it seemed like there was a message there, like there was a reason Spielberg put this in, because they were like the main characters here. They were kind of going off about it, like why there's Tom Cruise. He's like, why won't you let more people on? There's tons of room here. And maybe the practicality is that, maybe the ship can't hold more people. You had all those vehicles on the ship. There were still tons of people on there. But at the same time, I think that, the military in this instance, they aren't exactly, I don't think they're trained to handle a situation quite like this either. I think everybody's mind is in a different place and nobody's really considering the best interest of everybody in the mix. So they were sort of rushing away, and it's probably for the best that they didn't let anybody else on anyway, because there was the tripod was coming right towards them. So I don't think there was really any time to waste, even though it ended up going against them because another one comes from out of the water, which is another horrifying moment. You see, crap, these things are coming out of the water. Like, geez, there really is no safe place on the world where it's like, okay, there's definitely not a tripod here. Oh, they're coming out of the water. Nope. So yeah, definitely a strange sequence.
It's funny in this on set to mess with the characters and make the situation a lot more terrifying. Spielberg played the Jaws theme song on set while they were in the
set. I'm like, I don't remember that here.
On underwater speakers.
Later at the end of this action sequence, that these tripods, there's like a mothership there, right? And there's just tons of them in the distance. But leading up to that, you see tanks drive up, tons of tanks, tons of those Humvees, and then you have jets flying down there, blasting them with missiles, and then you see the helicopters, and it's a really beautiful sequence, and it's really visceral and vibrant with all these wonderful colors, and you just can tell that this is like everything they have. And at the end of the day, it doesn't make an inch. It doesn't do anything. And what did you guys feel to be particularly impactful by this sequence? Seeing the military sort of at their last legs here.
I think you nailed it pretty hard. It's just the absolute hopelessness of it, and one of the biggest superpowers on the planet, and we're throwing everything at this thing, and it's not doing anything. The shield is just too powerful. There's no weakness of this thing. It's like, what do you do realistically, especially in that moment where you have to give orders to all these soldiers? Like, I guess we'll just shoot more at it. Maybe eventually it breaks. Hopefully.
Yeah, it's definitely just another, because we've seen this scene before in a lot of other sci-fi films like this, whether it's this film or Transformers or Independence Day, where you have the military. It's like you have to see them at least try as hard as they can. They can't run away. Otherwise, it would make particularly in this instance, the U.S. military seem like cowards. And of course, Spielberg, as much as I'm sure he is not always, he's not a very pro-military person, doesn't want to be accused of showing the U.S. military like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he made it look great. There was something about it. It was kind of a beautiful moment seeing like everyone coming together, other than, the Torp son trying to get in the mix, right? I mean, that makes it not cool immediately, but it sort of reverses the cool part of it. It takes all the edge out. But yeah, I thought it was just kind of a really strong moment. And, you just see these tripods totally just eviscerate everyone. And these distance shots are really powerful too. You see them just lasering tons of people. I mean, you see how big this is, and you look at the lower part of the image. I believe those are people, those little specks down there. I think those are people, and they're just wiping them out like they're absolutely nothing. It's so crazy to think of like the power levels of these things. It's really just like next level. It's hard to like comprehend how powerful they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, Parkfall said we're having some buffering. I hope the buffering goes away. That's a shame. There's nothing I could do about that. So, yeah, let's hope the buffering goes away. But let's move on to the next chapter. Finally, we are getting to our friend Tim Robbins, who plays a pretty interesting role in this movie. I want to see more of that actor. I really don't see him in very much. You know, Shawshank Redemption, Jacob's Ladder. That's all I've seen him in. But yeah, he plays a pretty good character here. In this fourth chapter, we got 2 chapters left, this and the 5th one. After losing Robbie, Ray and Rachel take shelter in the basement of the house occupied by a paranoid survivalist, Ogilvy, which is a terrible name. Days pass in near darkness, and I've heard Ogilvy before. I've heard it in another movie or show. It might have been Cobra Kai. I don't remember, but yeah, Ogilvy. Doesn't that sound familiar?
Slapshot, maybe? Have you seen that one?
No.
Oh.
I think Ogilvy's his last name, but whatever. So days pass in near darkness as alien probes search the area as several of the invaders came dangerously close. Tensions rise between Ray and Ogilvy as the need for silence and survival clashes with Ogilvy's desire for revenge. And, you know, he's really gone quite mad. And it's interesting, the longer we spend with Tim Robbins, who's this Ogilvy character. At first, he's like kind of normal, and he just gets worse and worse. And as Ogilvy's madness grows, he becomes an alarming threat to the pair's survival, and Ray kills him to keep them safe, which is a pivotal moment. It's like, wow, you couldn't really believe that his character was going to go through those sorts of lengths to survive, but he does. So
no. I believe that, and allow me to take the stage for a second.
Yes, all right.
The day you guys have children is the day you'll realize how easy this is to do.
Whoa!
It's such a.
All right.
I'm telling you, the only unrealistic part of this is that he didn't crack him from behind with a brick. That he actually stood there and closed the door.
Yeah,
like as soon as he started freaking out, I'm like, he's gonna have to take this guy out. There's no other way about it.
Wow.
And it's also pretty interesting that she's singing that song "Hushabye Mountain." Do you guys know what that's from? What that song's from? That's a song from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Have any of you ever seen that movie?
Yes. It's been a long time though.
I grew up watching that movie so much. You know, that's one of the most fun, lighthearted family adventures. You know, especially with Dick Van Dyke, and all the songs in that movie were written by the Sherman Brothers. You know, they did the songs for Mary Poppins, Jungle Book, for the 1970s Hanna-Barbera film for Charlotte's Web. So these guys have some of the most iconic, lighthearted songs, and you take one of their songs and put it in this really dark, suspenseful moment where this little girl is singing it as, covering her ears to, so she doesn't hear her dad killing this guy. It's like you take one of the most tender songs that these guys have written. In the scene from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, when Dick Van Dyke sings this song, he's singing his kids to sleep, to comfort them because he's struggling to provide for them. He's a single dad in that film as well. He's an inventor who is trying to make money from his inventions, but none of them are really good. And he's also trying to get this car that his kids really want, and he can't make enough money to do that. He has to make whatever money he can to provide for his kids. So he's singing this song as a means to comfort them. And you take that song and you put it in this. It's a really crazy twist. I mean, it's like now I don't know if I'll ever think of that song without thinking about this scene at the same time.
That's interesting.
Wow. Yeah, if you've never seen it, I definitely recommend watching it. It's a very fun movie, and plus, you'll never get the songs out of your head.
All right. Wow. Interesting connection there. Yeah, I had no idea what she was singing. Like, I remember, that was sort of like a point of reference to his absent fatherhood, right? She asks him if he knows any of these comfort songs, and he doesn't know any of them. It's like, man, that sucks.
Mm.
Well, I mean, he hasn't been with her for years. Of course, he wouldn't know any of those songs. All he knows is the songs that he grew up with, and I mean, I don't know exactly who that artist is that he's singing. Does anybody else here know?
No, I had no idea.
Well, it's clearly like some kind of song he probably heard growing up in the 80s and in the 70s and stuff.
Well, going back to Tim Robbins' character here, what do you guys think his character Ogilvy represents in contrast to Ray's approach to the crisis? Like, how are they different? Like, how do they view this crisis different and the way they want to handle things?
Dude, Tim Robbins is just a nut. The dude snapped. You could just tell, like, what are you doing, my guy? Like, as soon as you meet him, you're just like, there's something very off about this man. And I would not want to be in the same house as him.
Yeah, that's true. And plus, like, you got that one moment where Tom Cruise wakes up and he sees him talking to to Rachel in a very weird and creepy kind of way. You're thinking like, is there something else? Is this guy, thinking about doing something else here? And he tells her, Rachel, stay here close to me.
I'll take care of you if your daddy dies.
Yeah, it's like what the hell?
Yeah,
that
it's
is
creepy.
It is a very messed up thing.
And they can't even leave. That's the problem, because the ships are literally right outside. It's not like, oh, well, this guy's weird, let's go. It's like, we can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely one of the more interesting parts of the film, especially when that alien probe comes in, whatever, like a big snake. Again, that's what I was
like a big
thinking.
alien schlong, kind of.
I was thinking
camera, but yes.
Camera, tentacle.
It was one,
anything else.
I just kept thinking Spielberg clearly wanted to do Anaconda, and he thought like this is the closest I'm ever gonna get to doing that. And it's like, I mean, that actually was pretty intense right there for me. Just watching that scene.
Oh yeah, that was great. Everything's so loud and like so obnoxious, loud, chaotic, and that's like a really silent moment. Everything's so quiet, and the slightest little creak in the floor, and you're dead. So, and it lasted a while too. There was quite a few layers to that.
I think it was like about 3 minutes, maybe 5.
What are we like, thinking about Ogilvy's character, Tim Robbins, what are we supposed to take away from him? Like, how did he end up this way, but Ray didn't? Isn't that kind of strange that he's like a total mess like this, but Ray isn't? And Ray's seen probably just as many horrifying things as he did.
Well, he's been cooped up by himself for, whenever this was started. So he's losing his mind for quite a while.
Yeah. And plus Ogilvy doesn't have anybody. Ray has his
purpose.
Yeah, Ray has his daughter.
Well, there is a scene where the aliens are picking through his photos and stuff like that, and they do pick up a family photo. So I was kind of wondering why they never really touched on that a little bit.
I think that just meeting this guy, I think that they were no longer in his life, honestly.
I could
just
see
the
why.
way he's acting. All right.
Yeah.
He was already crazy before.
Yeah, I think that he was, because I mean, his house is in the middle of nowhere. Because people who live in the middle of nowhere are just insane, right? But yeah, he's out in the middle of nowhere, and then he like just invites these people in, and then he's just Mr. Creepy Man the whole time. It's like, well, this guy has been this creepy probably his whole life.
I'm surprised he only has one gun in the house. You would think a guy like this he's ready for this to happen.
That's a good point.
Maybe, but if you look at the surroundings of that basement or whatever the house that they're in, it's like he doesn't. It's more like memorabilia and just like stuff that people just hoard, like the bikes and how you said the family photos. And it was like, so my guy, did you just like not think of like I need a rifle and not a shotgun? Like, come on, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a strange choice. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
he's like this kind of post-apocalyptic survivalist, it sort of seems. He said he had like enough food for weeks, so I think he's definitely gone out to lunch.
Yes.
That didn't really like hit me until you said that though. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Huh.
this guy was never to me. It's they were just showing another side of humanity, of the ones that just snap but keep to themselves, and then they'll do like weird shit, like, "Oh, I'll take care of you if your dad dies." Like,
Yeah.
bro, I'd be running for the hills if a man said that to me. I'd be like, no
Oh,
thanks.
man. Yeah.
Especially at her age, I'd be like,
Oh,
no,
gosh.
Yeah.
you're not my dad.
That was
So you
shady.
guys think that Ray made the right choice to, eliminate him?
Oh,
After
of
he
course.
wrote
Yes.
Oh
Oh
my gosh!
Yeah.
Not even a thought.
Unfortunately, yeah.
gosh. Why couldn't he knock him out or something?
No.
No.
And then
No.
and then what? Keep him, this crazy person, tied up again. The ships are right outside. He's not going to
That's
go
like-
quietly.
That's like the typical mistake that you would make in a horror film, where you knock the guy out and you
Yeah.
leave the weapon there right beside him until he wakes up. It's like you just, of course, you got to get rid of him.
Man.
Or
Wow.
you
All
don't
right. I'm
shoot
kind of
the zombie.
surprised. I didn't think everybody would be totally on board
Jackson,
with that.
telling you, children.
It's-
will
Do you think
change
that
your
was the
mentality.
morally?
I
is
don't
that,
care about
can you
my
do that?
child. Is all that matters. Listen, you're all very nice to me. My son matters a lot more. I'm sorry.
Wow. What if I went crazy?
I've already pushed you in front of the beam.
Man.
I'll feel
remember
bad about
that.
it, but I'll still do it.
I'll
It's-
remember that.
It's the War of the Worlds, man. You got an alien invasion. Of course, it doesn't matter that this guy has issues. There's nobody's thinking about going to a hospital or a therapist right now.
Yeah. Dang. Wow. All right. Well, Joe, you mentioned it. I thought something that was kind of striking about this sequence was the aliens. When they did show up, they're pretty they're kind of cute almost, and they're funny looking. Like, these things are responsible for causing all this destruction. I mean, here's a model image of them. Nothing intimidating about them at all.
I do wonder if maybe Spielberg should have gone with a little bit of the original look of them, with the tri-colored look in them. I don't know if you've ever seen what it looks like, but I kind of think that might have been a little bit more intimidating than this.
Yeah, this looks like a mixture of like Independence Day mixed with Men in Black.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those aliens.
Yeah. Why
You
do
think-
that?
You think these things are cute?
Yeah, it's kind of cute, I guess.
You think these things are
At
cute,
least.
but you think that the Thermians from Galaxy Quest are horrifying?
Yes, definitely.
No way.
Oh my
dude.
gosh.
You got it all wrong.
Ew, those things are way worse.
Thermians are much more bangable than these things.
Wow. You said
Oh,
it, man.
that's not right.
Wow. The Thermians. Good callback. That was a long time ago. Yeah, I'd prefer this thing over them any day.
These
Definitely.
things to me look like absolute nightmare fuel.
I don't know about that. They're not scary. Look at it. That thing looks scary.
No,
They
there's
look
only
like- they
been
look
one
like
alien that's
spider.
scary.
They look like three-legged spiders.
What alien?
The
Oh, the
xenomorphs.
xenomorph. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing has ever come close to the xenomorph.
I think the Signs alien was scary.
Yeah, they're creepy. They're not. I don't know for what reason. It just doesn't scare me. But they're very creepy looking. But this thing just looks like you just smack it in the face and it would like
Yeah.
run off.
Yeah, it's so fleshy.
This is the first time I've actually seen the whole thing. I didn't know they had the one giant leg and the two little arms.
The two.
Yeah, that's
I-
interesting.
I didn't even realize that the first. I'm looking at it like, wow, we really
You're
didn't
right.
get to
Just
see this
3
whole
legs.
thing?
Like, yeah, 2 arms, 2 big arms, and 1 back arm.
They're
leg
like they're
thing.
machines.
Yeah,
That's why.
Oh,
Yep, they're
Yeah.
tripods.
Tripod. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I didn't notice that
strange.
either. Huh. Well, this is a good model here then. But the reason why I brought this up was, there was a strange moment here in the basement, and you pointed to it, Joe, where for whatever reason these little alien guys are in the basement. I guess the reason is they needed something to drink, strangely enough, so they started drinking out of the pipe, which I guess that's water. We're not completely sure. But when they go down there, they're sort of looking around, and they grab the photo. It's a large photo of a human mother, which is probably Tim Robbins' wife, and I think she had a child in her arms, so probably his daughter. And they're just kind of admiring it for a little bit. Why do you think that was the case? What was the point of this moment here? What was this supposed to show us?
I think they were trying to like humanize the alien, because
Yeah.
Spielberg loves to do that with aliens. Tries to make you sympathize with them.
It's more like they
Like-
were looking at like, oh, hey, this guy has a family. That's cool.
Yeah. Oh wow, look at this bike. Look at this. It's like they're
Well, they're-
curious.
Yeah, I'd say because like at the beginning you have Morgan Freeman narrating, saying how they've been watching us all this time. They've been observing us, and clearly they're looking at like what probably seems very odd to them. Like, what is this? This image of these creatures, and their families are like, what's these things with wheels that they have? And it's very strange to them, obviously, because they don't have that kind of stuff likely, and wherever they come from, and they probably think of it as like these fragile creatures. They have these very odd ways of living and odd things of doing. Why? Because they're their lives are so short and meaningless, and yet it's like they have all these weird things about them. So that's what I took away from it.
They're judging the bike like, this thing only has 3 pedals. Of course we obliterated their world.
Nice. All right. Well, fair enough. Any last thoughts on this chapter before we move on to the last chapter of the story?
They spread the fertilizer, and that was horrific. Watching that guy
Yeah,
get
that was-
sucked dry.
Yeah.
Like, oh man! It's like you thought
Gosh.
this movie was
I fell asleep on
scary.
that
Yeah, it's like you thought this movie was scary before. It's like, oh, they're trying to terraform the planet now.
Oh.
It's like I'm seeing the upside down from Stranger Things, but all in red.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was tough.
You can
All
tell
right.
you can tell Stranger Things took that from this.
I'm sick of like the stealing. Stop stealing ideas, people. Just make your own. Quit. Oh boy. Nothing you can do about it. It's bound to happen. But in this final chapter, Rachel, the little girl, gets abducted by a tripod, and Ray gets captured trying to save her too. At first taken prisoner, Ray blows the tripod up from inside its core, and the two continue forward towards Boston on foot, witnessing the aftermath of the invasion. They quickly discover that the once invincible aliens are beginning to fail for unexpected reasons. Super weird situation. And reunited at the end, together at last, Robbie and the remaining family members lie safe together in Boston. It's a happy ending, and we get a very rushed, non-climactic conclusion to the alien race. It's like, they have been built up as this massive powerhouse that's totally unbeatable, and all of a sudden they're all just crazy vulnerable, just like in an instant. And I thought that was kind of cheap. I don't think that was very well constructed. I thought it was a little abrupt, and I was a little disappointed because I thought we were going to get a kind of a ceremonious discovery of what their weakness was, but it's just really just a matter of fact, out of nowhere, just plopped down on the desk. Okay, I guess something happened, and now the aliens are very vulnerable. Why did this happen? Because I think I read into it and I read what the reason was, but I don't think the movie did a very good job at explaining why all the aliens became so vulnerable all of a sudden at the end. So what do you guys believe was the cause for that?
All right, I brought it up once after the movie, and it just makes so much sense to me with the tripod that they were all captured on. I believe that it looked bigger to me because it had all those cages. You didn't see any of the cages on any of the other tripods. I believe that was the mothership, and once they destroyed the mothership, that took away all the shields and enforcements from all the other tripods, making them vulnerable.
That's an interesting theory. Yeah.
Well, they said that because the aliens were, exposed for too long to, our atmosphere with all the germs and the microscopic organisms and stuff, that, it caused them to weaken and stuff like that. It was, that it was dying because of that. And yeah, I agree. Brawler, that definitely just felt like it was thrown in there at the last minute. Just, convenient little plot twist, lazy writing just to get the movie over with, so that way they could hit a certain run time.
Yeah.
I thought Tom Cruise was going to battle this thing with a crane because in the beginning he was a crane operator and his boss wanted him to stay over.
This isn't Transformers, Joe.
Well, he's like, you're the best at this. You got to move all this stuff. He's like, I got to go see those things a while ago, those kid things. So yeah, I thought it was going to be like, he was going to go to some kind of construction site and battle with something with a crane or something.
That would have actually been pretty cool if he had some pallet filled with all these explosions and lifted it up in the reach of one of these tripods and it sucks it in and blows up like that, and that would be the mothership.
Yeah. But I guess they didn't want to go where it was Tom Cruise saving the day and saving humanity, I guess.
Yeah. It was all he really does is like, look at the birds. There's no shield. And it's
I was hoping the birds were partly responsible for it. I was like, man, that would be great. That would be a nice little twist.
Well, doesn't it say at the very end of what got it though?
Yeah.
It just says the common cold, basically. Took them out.
No, they got that diarrhea lettuce that's going around now. Look at all that orange stuff that was pouring out of the ship at the end.
But what cracks me up is, they say the common cold got it. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, okay, when they've taken those humans and they're just freaking spraying their blood all over the place, just nasty. And I'm just sitting there, I'm like, honey, there's more than the common cold in that blood. I mean, can you imagine them, their race trying to, I don't know, counteract, AIDS or something like that? It's bro, people live with it, but damn, they weren't living with it in the 80s.
Well, I guess
they figured it out.
I guess the, the aliens planted the tripods 1 million years ago, right? And the conditions had changed over those million years. And when they, came up and this invasion appeared, they weren't adjusted to the climate. They weren't adjusted to just the living sphere of Earth and their own biology, the chemistry inside themselves. It was hindered by the newly evolved cells and such. So pretty interesting, but it was kind of unceremonious. It would have been nice if they sort of hinted at some of this earlier. I don't know. I thought this movie, it did a good job explaining itself so many times over, and then in the end, it's like that's it. That's all we get.
Yeah, because it's they built these things up to be basically indestructible for most of the film, but then when you get here to the end, they just have to have some way of ending it on a positive note where it's well, maybe there's this really inconvenient thing that or this convenient way of taking them out where it's we don't need to blow them up, we don't need to shoot at them, they're just going to die from being exposed to all the germs in the air.
It's such a boring reason. You know, it doesn't have to be this big action set piece, but of all things, if they could have just made it a little more cinematic, or maybe if we saw like a stretch of them failing and the military and you know what, you have the civilians, you have the people rise up and just overcrowd them. Wouldn't that be kind of cool? And you see pockets of that all over the world.
Yeah, it's like you figure it out a little bit earlier in the film, like halfway through, where they find out, oh, these things are acting up a little bit now. Like it just, something drops, and then there's some science, like one of the tripods just crashes, like they said, but it's earlier in the film, and like you have scientists examining it real quick, and they realize, oh, it's deteriorating because of all the micro germs and bacteria that it's getting exposed to. So it's like, we may have a chance of actually fighting it. And you see, like, towards the end, the technology is acting up, but it's still basically functional. It can defend itself, but now the people have a better chance of putting up more of a fight.
There was a scene really early where the daughter was explaining that she has a splinter and her body's going to push it out when it's ready. I thought that was kind of going towards that.
That's interesting. Wow, that's a slim comparison, isn't it?
I totally forgot about that part.
Hey, well, you're probably right. That's probably supposed to be a nod. That's kind of that's a weird nod, but somewhere, I guess. What do you think was the alien like? Were the aliens evil, or was this their instinct? What do you think their motive was? Like, why even do this?
Is it evil for me to trample an anthill if I want to build a garden in my house? No.
An ant has no quarrel with a boot.
I was thinking about that. Right there we go. Yeah.
What is that from?
Avengers. Loki. Yo, you don't
Jackson.
even care about old Avengers.
Sorry, I erased a lot of Marvel stuff from my mind.
He says, and then Samuel L. Jackson says to him, "You planning to step on us?"
Nice.
Well, like I said, I don't think they're evil. I think they're just colonizers. They're something's happening with their world.
Colonizers.
It's not bad if we're the ones that are the top species. Like, we don't want to get obliterated, and then it's like, oh, what a Greek tragedy this is. Like, well, survival of the fittest. They're the boot, and we're the ants.
Yeah, I think it's sort of just their nature, like animals, predators have to eat pigs and whatever else. That's just the way they're supposed to be. It's strange though, they don't, there doesn't really seem to be much of a reason to doing like all the things they do. Like, they're just zapping a lot of people too. They're hunting people down. They're not harvesting everybody. So
they're basically just coming here to conquer, kind of like every other alien like invasion type thing. They're coming here because their world isn't livable anymore, or some bullshit like that. But it's it is though. It's always that. It's like, oh well, their planet isn't live. I don't care. Go back.
Yeah. Exactly.
I have no sympathy. Sorry.
That's definitely something that you would be relatable right now. It's like you always got the two different kinds of aliens. You got the ones that are here to destroy us, and you got the ones that are here, seeking asylum.
What do you guys think is the main message of this movie? What are we supposed to take home from this entire experience watching the movie?
Family.
That science is incredible. That's what they're trying to do.
A father's love will always be their
unparalleled.
The means that people are going to go to survive. Like we saw pretty much every viewpoint of what would happen if this realistically happened today.
Yeah. But also, like, you see Tom Cruise, it's the love that he discovers he has for his kids that keeps him from going insane like everybody else. I mean, he does some pretty, dark stuff, but he does it, to protect his kids, and yet he still ends up coming out for the most part, still a semi-decent guy. He's traumatized by the things he's had to do and the things he's had to see, but the main thing is that he got his daughter back home safely, and conveniently his son.
Yeah, isn't that great? It was like everything was hunky-dory, but Robbie's still alive. That sucks.
Yeah.
What do you think, if you guys, to close, if you could change anything about this movie, how would you make this movie better?
No happy ending.
Yeah, that is true.
You prefer a 7 ending, don't you?
Yeah, devastating.
Explore that a little bit, Luke. What would be the unhappy ending you'd want to go with?
The aliens win,
Oh, that's really dark.
Yeah. How about they grab Tom Cruise
he has to tell us.
I want to leave like the movie in like with my jaw on the floor. That's that's the best. Like the end of 7. I loved that. Like
you hated it.
Well, yeah, emotionally, yes, but like I
wish I never saw this.
It had me blabbing. Like I'm blabbing about the movie. That means it was it was good. Infinity War. I mean, the ending of that. It's like when you first see that, your jaw's on the floor. It's like I can't believe that the villain just won. So yeah, that's what I would like.
Well, don't spoil it for Jackson. He's never seen the movie.
Yeah. He doesn't care about Infinity War either.
I like Infinity War.
Or
I liked everything before Endgame.
It's Marvel.
I liked a lot.
You don't like it? No.
I don't like anything after Endgame, really. So, just the last 6 years. That's it.
At least I would definitely make the daughter less annoying, and at least have the son killed off.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, I'd write the kids better. And honestly, I think the ending is good. It's just it needs to be executed better. Because it's a different kind of ending if you watch any other alien invasion. Because it's not like they're coming here and, like, say Close Encounters, they're not taking him away from his family.
Yeah.
Or they're not like, oh, come hang out with me on this planet. It's like, no, they got, if you were to go still the happy ending, which I don't care either way. I do like non-happy endings as well. But it just needed to be, like, kind of like touch and go of like, okay, them figuring out what it was, because you can't tell me that there weren't people, because everything's just science with freaking Steven Spielberg. So it's like you can't tell me that you didn't have people in the background trying to figure out what is like a weakness of theirs, and they just never even touch on it. They just, if you just want to do survival science fiction like that, that's completely fine, but you need to touch a little bit more on what the hell, like it's literally just like, look at the birds and then you're done, and then, oh hey, look, dumbass is with mom and dad, or mom and stepdad. It's like, oh my god, here we go.
I would have liked to have maybe another half hour of it where Robbie learned something. Maybe Ray was able to pull him away. Maybe Robbie saw that his sister was being taken away, and that maybe snapped him out of it, and then maybe they would have a couple of moments in the basement together, maybe talking about some things. Maybe we get to know why he's been such an absentee father this whole time with it. But yeah, the ending, I don't really know what I would say with it, because I don't want it to be where Tom Cruise single-handedly saves the world, but maybe we could have gotten something. Well, he's not going to take down a machine by himself. I don't know, maybe if he was on the docks and jumped in one of these cranes or something, just like in the beginning of the movie. But other than that, yeah, it just seemed like it was kind of a wasted scene to explain how good he is from his boss to never see anything of this.
Yeah. When you keep talking about that scene with the crane, like in your head, I'm thinking of Ripley from Aliens, right?
Yeah.
And she gets in the loader. It sounds like kind of a similar thought here. Like they could have done something like that. I guess it would have been a little hokey, but I think we needed something like that. I mean, it has been such a bold, massive demonstration showing how like awful and evil and like destructive the tripods are. I don't know why you wouldn't want to finish them off with a strong sweep. You know what I mean? Why not? And it's not like you can at least get like shots maybe from around the world. Maybe the news is playing it. with all the tripods just deflating and the military destroying them as they're weak. Like just something simple like that would have done it.
Mhm.
Yeah, there was an Alan Richardson Netflix movie where he's single-handedly battling a giant alien mech, and he goes to a construction site. He's using the machinery there to knock it over and then attack its weak point. So maybe we could have had just something similar. Maybe the what was it called? The shields, they only stop projectiles, but if you like ram a car into them or something, or hit them a certain way, maybe it's different.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. That would have been good.
Yeah.
I think I definitely, to close, I'd kill off both of the children. Like both. I don't know how.
That's his anchor to
That
humanity.
would have been so interesting. It would have been so dreadful and sad. And I would also like, okay, if they are the present way that they are and they're super annoying, I would have the tripods, I don't know, do whatever, zap them or something. And if not, if I could just totally recreate the movie, I would make them older, just two older kids that respect their dad. And there can be drama. Maybe he made some bad choices, but I would not have them totally disrespect him and be so immature and brutish and sassy with him all the time, because those are qualities I can't stand in anyone. I hate those qualities. And that's literally what's most prominent about both of them. Those are their strongest qualities, is being that way. And it's like nobody likes that. So of course we want the aliens to zap you if you're going to be like that the whole time with our hero. So a guy that's at least trying his best, and here you are just showing no respect. So that's what I would do. And I would make the conclusion a little more ceremonious. But yeah, let's see. We have a few chats here, and then we'll close for the night.
Proctor has a fantastic comment.
Oh, okay, good. Jordy, what's up, Jordy? Jordy42. First time I think I've seen you on here, Jordy. Thanks for joining us. If you want some horror in your sci-fi, watch Fire in the Sky. Is that the newer Hulu movie?
No, that's No One's Coming to Save You. Fire in the Sky is
one.
where one guy gets abducted by aliens and all of his coworkers are suspected of murdering him.
Oh wow!
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's based on a true events.
Okay,
It happened in the 70s or the 80s. The movie it's from the 90s, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh gosh. Park File. Ashley, so you're saying we're gonna have to probe the aliens to defeat them?
Exactly. Hey, they were probing them in Independence Day, so why not do it in this one?
Ew. Park File wants to probe them. Yeah, that's what I guess Proctophile does. Proctophile, probing things. Shh. Proctophile. Get colonized, nerds. Yeah, nice. All right. Well, any final thoughts about the Great War of the Worlds before we conclude for the night, everybody? Do we recommend the movie? Do we recommend people check it out?
Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
I'd say I'd recommend it.
Even with its flaws,
That's
it's so
like a
good.
side thumb for me, and you give me a side thumb.
I mean, I'd recommend it with a warning to anybody. Just be prepared for some really annoying kids.
yeah, I side thumb it for the kids.
I think this could have been one of Spielberg's top 5 if those kids were just handled better. I think it had so much great substance to it.
Definitely makes me appreciate Ready Player One more.
They're making a
Why?
sequel of that too.
Oh, I hope not, because
No, they are.
I hope not, because I tried listening to the book for the sequel. I already listened to the original book for the first film, and it was so much better than the movie in a lot of ways. But I still like the movie. But if they are making a film based on this sequel, from what I got so far into it, I really hope they don't. But who knows?
Well, I thought this was great. Brawler definitely recommends. I really enjoyed it. Despite the hiccups, I thought it was great. I wouldn't mind watching it again. If it's on tape, I would like it on tape. I've never seen a War of the Worlds tape, so I don't know if it's on tape.
It's not.
No? Okay,
No.
yeah, you would know, Ashley. It's not on tape.
It's yeah, I think it came out a little too late. Because 2005 was the last year they did that. So
okay.
It's all
They
They don't
DVDs
have
and
it on
Blu-rays.
tape? Oh, that's what you meant by that. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, you
old
never know.
school World War Joe.
Yeah, it's so
Yeah.
much extra work for me.
Yeah. You never know,
Gosh.
man. You can always try and look.
That's
Somebody
right.
might have
Maybe
done
I
something for
will.
it.
Yeah.
That'll be your business. You have a way to convert DVDs into old tapes.
I feel like that's like piracy doing that.
Well, yeah, but
Selling.
People already-
I see it on Etsy. Like it's crazy.
I
see
have a
people
few
taking-
myself.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I mean,
Probably
they
not
look
good, but who
cool.
cares? Like, what do I have right here is I have the Monsters, the new Rob Zombie
Oh,
one.
wow. Oh,
Yeah, and
that's
this is ripped from Netflix, but you know what? Who cares about Netflix?
Have you opened it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It looked like it was sealed.
Oh no, I have a protector over it.
Oh,
That's why.
wow.
Wow. All right.
I'm a
cool.
weirdo when it comes to VHS.
Oh, hey, that's cool. I don't blame you. That sounds expensive too, so I would safeguard it. But yeah, that'll do it for us, everybody. Please be sure to check out all these great channels. It was so much fun having you guys on again. Ashley, World War Joe, and Ian. I appreciate you guys jumping on. You guys are great as always. I got their channels in the description below. Please be sure to go down there and give them a sub. Never hurts, and you never know. You might always find your favorite channel, as Wilkie always says. I say that like everyone. I always like that. But yeah, if you liked what we were saying here too, please be sure to give the stream a thumbs up and subscribe to Box Office Brawler. We greatly appreciate that as well. Next week, live 9 p.m. on Tuesday Eastern Time, we are going to be talking about No Country for Old Men, as per request from Megan the Texan. So
Awesome.
she's going to be joining us. And yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We're talking about a few newer-ish movies. Like, that's not that old. This one isn't all that old either. So I think after that, we're going to be going farther back into the past. So stay tuned for that. But we appreciate you all for watching. Thank you as always. And never forget, give 'em the Duke and give 'em the dog. We'll see you guys later. Peace out.
What kind of person are you? Are you the kind that sees signs, sees miracles? Or do you believe that people just get lucky?